probably the attendance in matches, the double headers with the men's matches. Just overall, even since Little have come on board, there's been so much new initiatives to promote the game. So I think it's still growing, but it's been growing fast over the last 5 years.
I suppose I'd have to say the live streaming of the games. I suppose, especially in the National League, we've been able to be in a position where we've been able to watch a lot more games live streamed, whether it be on Facebook or on the links on YouTube or whatever it may be. And then obviously with COVID and stuff, it's been quite hard to see games. So we were very fortunate in the sense that we were able to watch them live streamed, and so I think that's probably one of the biggest improvements.
Well, I think the actual promotion of the sport and how visible it is for all youngers across the country is probably the best improvement that I've seen. Before LGFA and Lidl and TG Cahir have really got involved with the sport, I think it was much less visible, and now for all the youngers across the country, they can really see their role models, see their own inter-county players on the TV, in the newspapers, even to be able to stream their games online. It's huge, and I think the overall promotion of the sport has really worked wonders for ladies football in Ireland.
I think there's a couple of things that have really improved over the past few years. Certainly just the amount of media coverage that we've received with the sport over the few years has been incredible, and it's really growing, and you can really start to see that it's going to grow even more again. And I think even just the standard of the game, the fitness, the physicality of players has really started to ramp up as well in the past few years, so it's brilliant.
There's definitely been a few. I think if you were to put it down to one, you wouldn't really be able. I remember attending events like this 4, 5, 6 years ago, and there wouldn't be the media coverage that there is now today. So that's definitely a massive one. Participation, the amount of kids that are getting involved in LGFA. I know back home, my home club, and there's a local club around us as well, New Inn, and you just see the little ones in there every Saturday morning. You can really see the participation has just literally gone through the roof. In terms of role models then, I think it's evident. Lidl have definitely made role models evident through their billboards, their TVs. In Lidl, they've all the Lidl Plus app now, you can get your jerseys, and they've really just highlighted and given younger girls role models to look up to. So I suppose that all came with, can see, can't be, and I think there's millions that I could reel off, but they're definitely the few that's on out my head.
Personally, I'd have to say kind of the crowds, going and seeing the changes that have happened in Croke Park, and being lucky enough to be there from 2014 to 2021, that you literally are, every year you're going out and you're seeing, oh my God, it was the Cusack, now it's growing around Croke Park. So that's probably the biggest change which I would have enjoyed probably the most over the last couple of years.
I actually can't think of anything at the minute, so I'm going to have to say I probably wouldn't change anything at the minute. Just from looking on, I suppose the physicality side of things, in women's game, you're not. It's quite hard, in terms of being able to push someone off the ball or a fair shoulder or whatever it may be. You basically can't touch women in women's football, and it's really, really frustrating sometimes in the games. And then you go on and watch a men's game, and they're practically rugby tackling each other. So I suppose I would like to see a little bit more focus on that in the coming years, to be able to women can play football just as good as men, and that physicality needs to be brought into it a little bit more.
I think the biggest change is not really a change, but it's more of a hope that maybe we could fill Croke Park before 2025. I think it's been class to see the progress over the last few years in terms of the numbers at every All-Ireland final, but how amazing would it be for the sport if we were actually able to fill Croke Park? So that would be a fantastic aim for us to achieve.
I think probably linking to the physicality of the game as well, if we could actually be a little bit more physical in the game, it would be brilliant. Because I think we work so hard, we all go to the gym and everything, so being able to do that in the pitch would be great.
That's a controversial question. I wouldn't mind a bit of a shoulder, yeah. I definitely like more physicality. I think that we're all training for physicality in our S&C and our pre-season programs, and I think actually we all want it, but probably the yellow card as well. I think that kind of ruins the game. When someone gets sent off, it kind of really throws a lapse in the game. But we'll leave that up to the associations to decide that one.
I probably think allowing that more contact and having consistency across the board. It might be a bit of a boring one, but the best games we've seen are the ones in Croke Park, kind of All-Ireland semi-stages where it's free-flowing, the game is let play, and we do all this training to be strong and physical, so those games often are the best ones. So to probably allow that we get a bit more contact in within the rules, yeah, that would probably be the change.
I would have to say Annette Clark. She captained the Galway ladies team back when they won in 2004, and she is one of my own club mates as well. So we closely followed her when we were still young, and she'll kill me for saying it, but she's 40 years old and she just won an All-Ireland with our club with us at the weekend after having 2 gorgeous babies. So she's a massive inspiration still.
I don't know if I had a favourite footballer per se. I suppose I played a lot of soccer and Gaelic at the same time, and my focus was always goalkeeping, and I always watched various goalkeepers, whether it be soccer goalkeepers or Gaelic goalkeepers. So I don't think I kind of had one favourite player that I always focused on and watched their style of play. It was always looking at various different goalkeepers to see what different styles of play they had, and then take bits and pieces from each of that.
Well, actually one of my own club mates, Maureen O'Donnell, she was like a big role model for me growing up as well. She was one of the only girls playing for Donegal at that time that I knew, so I always kind of strived to maybe be able to wear a Donegal jersey as well. So she's been a massive influence for me, and also being able to play with her in my own club was huge for me too.
Seamus Moynihan, growing up, he was just the best centre back, and yeah, amazing to watch.
And why was he the best, do you think? Did you go out and sort of practice what he won?
I wish I try and see what he did. No, but it was just his passion, his strength, his determination, and his ability to read the ball was incredible. Anytime you saw him play, you just saw him put it all on the field, and it was just, yeah, he was my idol growing up.
Colm Cooper, yeah, from Kerry. Yeah, I loved him. Just everything he did, every time he was out in the pitch, he was just absolutely amazing. His dummies, and always. Even in my head growing up, there was no one really else. It was just always Colm Cooper. And then sure, Louise de Maherty came then, and she was known as the Gooch, and I got to know her then, and I was looking up to her as well. So
it's funny because I only kind of started watching football when I was 13. I only started playing when I moved house at 13, so I was late into it. So it has to be kind of someone from home. So be Lindsay Davey and Sinead Ahern. They were there when they won the All-Ireland. It was probably the first time where I would have seen that. So yeah, the 2 girls.
I think probably even just after playing in the ladies' game, it's to play to the final whistle, because you just don't know what can happen in the ladies' games recently. So definitely, yeah, play to the final whistle.
I suppose the one thing that always sticks out in me, it was if it's meant for you, it won't pass you. I suppose I'm obviously one of the older girls on the Meath team, and I could have thrown in the towel a good few years back, saying I'd never be in a position to be in an All-Ireland final, let alone win an All-Ireland final, and I'm very honoured and privileged to be standing here saying that I have 2 All-Ireland medals, the intermediate and the senior one. So if I had have given up all those years ago, I wouldn't have been fortunate to be standing here talking to you.
But sometimes losing probably isn't the worst thing, that you can learn so much from losing, and you can always build on your mistakes. So even if your own club team or your own county team isn't winning every game, that there's still so much learning that you can take, and you can really better yourself as a player from losing. Sometimes whenever you're winning every game, there's not much learning to be taken. So by losing, you can actually turn yourself into a winner as well by building on those mistakes.
Parents used to always just say, whatever you do your best, and then you can do no more after that. So that's what I try and remind myself after games as well. Sometimes if they don't go your way, just try and remember that you did your best.
I wouldn't say it's advice, but I think just filling young kids to just keep going and never give up, in terms of if they miss a score, to try again. And I actually seen a tweet there during the week, and it was some coach tweeting saying that it's great to see the confidence in it was actually a senior player that was playing at the weekend, how he can kick a wide and go back 2 minutes later and kick again. And I think it's just filling kids with that drive and confidence that they can just keep going, keep staying at it. It wouldn't be so much advice, it would just be inspiration more than anything.
It's just to work hard on every given day, and that there's loads of things you can't control on a day, but one thing you can control is to work hard and your attitude going out there, and it's something which I always strive to do. If I'm working hard, a lot of the times the rest of it goes right, so that would be it.
I hope not. Monica probably said different. God, I think the championship is wide open. I think it could be anyone's game this year, but hopefully it might be going to Galway. like, you know, you never say never. Like, you know, obviously our focus, you know, I suppose a lot of people don't realise that we have been in Division 2 and we haven't been in Division 1 yet. So Division 1 football in itself is going to be a massive challenge for us this year. So we're taking the league as it comes and then focusing on the championship when it comes around. Like, obviously I want to say yes to that, but you can't think too far ahead. We have to park 2021 now. The National League Division 1 is our main focus now going forward for 2022 at the moment.
I'm sure they possibly could, but I'm hoping that there's a few teams that could possibly put a stop to that. I think everyone's going to be really hungry this year. I think Meath had a very inspirational win last year, and it really showed all the rest of the counties in Ireland that maybe they could possibly do it as well. So I think there's going to be a real hunger in every single county team in Ireland this year to go and try and bring home the Brendan Martin.
Not if we've anything to do about it anyway. I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, no, I've played against Meath for a few years. I know exactly what they're like. I'm not even surprised. Like the rest of Ireland was surprised last year. I actually genuinely wasn't. I've seen what they're about. We've played them in many games. We're probably old rivals as well. Intermediate All-Ireland's challenge games, they always had a good structure and plan in place, and it was always about time they were going to get over the line. Now, I didn't think they'd get over it as soon as what they did, but I wouldn't put it past them. Just look the way they held themselves in the All-Ireland final last year. Do you know, it's just incredible. Normally, if that was me, you'd be going in, you'd be apprehensive about taking on such a dominant team that's in ladies football at the minute. But I was at the game myself, and they just literally threw back the shoulders and just went at it. And you just have to admire them. And you know, I wish the best of luck to them this year again. I know I might be sitting from the sideline watching on, but our girls too, I hope that they shove on too, because it just goes to show. We bet Meath a few years ago in All-Ireland final, so I hope we can shove on 100% and tip for the win wherever we go.
Sure they can, yeah. It's there for every team to go back to back when they win it. You know, you have the winning feeling from the previous year, which drives you on, but then we also have the hurt of losing, which drives us on. So we'll see.
And that hurt from losing, obviously last year was a tough year for you. How did you forget about it now, push yourself on and just look to the future?
Yeah, you forget about it somewhat, but then you know, there's still a little small part of me that holds on to the hurt from it in order to use that in a positive way, to drive you forward, to motivate you on the days where you're not motivated, and then just to learn. You know, you watch the game, you analyse it, you learn from it, you grow from it, and then you pack most of it away. And it depends on the person. For me, I like to hold on to a little bit of that hurt, but other people mightn't. They might just forget about it and focus on us.